Hello everybody and welcome to the Real Tarot 1123. I hope all of you are doing very well. This is going to be a reading for my series Movie Star Mondays, and I am doing this reading for Robin Williams. I know a lot of folks have asked me to do this, and I've been kind of putting it off for whatever reason. I'm not even sure why, but then I decided to do it today. I was like, why am I even hesitating? Not hesitating, just putting it off. I couldn't tell you one way or the other if there was any particular reason, but I had. So anyway, let's get started today. Okay, let's get some general energy cards pulled. So y'all are not going to be able to see my desk because I have a lot going on my desk at the moment. So I'm just going to hold up the cards for you folks so y'all can see what's Robin Williams. His full name is Robin Mclaurin Williams, born on July 21st, 1951. So he's basically a Cancer Leo cusp. But he died on August 11, 2014. That's a Leo. So, and his 8th house is very, very active. First, 4th, and 8th house. So, first house is all about himself, right? It's about your independence, individuality, etc. And it's also about how you perceive yourself, how you present yourself, how do you think people perceive you? How would you like people to perceive you? That sort of a thing. And the 4th house talks about the emotions, home, family roots, etc. And 8th house talks about wills, secrets, death, regeneration, finances, all that stuff. And I have to say the 8th house also kind of touches on, how shall I say, it does also include our deepest thoughts, that we don't ever share with anybody, and what truly goes on inside of us, the deepest, darkest secrets, that type of a thing as well. So let's take a look. His first house is Cancer, 4th house is Libra, and 8th house is Aquarius, of course. So Cancer, as we all know, is a water sign. It's all about emotions, right? And Libra is an air sign. It's all about thought, right? So Cancerians are emotional, sentimental, romantic, social, spiritual, that sort of a thing. And the Swords side is all about, the Libra, and Aquarius is also Swords energy. It's about the intellect, the rationale, the verbal prowess, very decisive. Could be a little bit aggressive in terms of making decisions, very swift, could also be a little bit harsh, that sort of a stuff. So let's go take a look. We have Virgo, we have Taurus, we have Pluto. Just going to move my little crystal here, get it out of the way, right? We have the air card, very cerebral, and we have Cancer. So here, very intellectual, like very great gift of the gab. Well, he was a comedian, right? Very intellectual, had the ability to be very mercurial in terms of his thought process, okay? Not that he was a Mercury sign or anything like that. Well, of course, very quick in terms of, had the ability to quickly change his mind, okay? So again, with those folks who are natural born comedians, if you will, how quickly they can absorb certain situations from the environment and turn it and make it into a comedy and present it back. So that's what I mean. Very, very smart that way, okay? Now let's look at Virgo. He's a Cancerian and Virgo is his 3rd house. The 3rd house talks about immediate environment, etc. And Taurus is his 11th house, and the 11th house talks about like-minded people, groups, and friends. Now, Pluto talks about change, death, regeneration, that sort of a thing. And then the air card, of course, as I said, it also here, his 7th house, friends, marriage, partners, contracts, and relationships, and Cancer, that is his first house. For him, it was very, very, very important, okay, very important to know and have the confidence that he was well received and truly, genuinely appreciated by his like-minded people, his groups, his friends, his intimate partners, and family. It was very, very important for him to have that sense of approval. Like, he may not have necessarily gone out and sought it out, but it really did matter. Their opinions did matter to him. So give me 1 second. Let's take a look at his 11th house is Taurus, correct? He had a very good group of people around him, but at the same time, I sense with that Pluto, for something for whatever reason, even though he had that circle of friends, there was a constant need for him to keep changing and regenerating himself, because he felt that he was never up to speed, that he was never truly accepted. Now, let's look at the 4th house. The 4th house talks about emotions, home, mother, family roots, etc. So his 4th house, 1, 2, 3, 4th house is Libra. He was always trying to find a balance as far as his 4th house aspects were concerned. His emotions, always trying to find a balance, find the happy medium. And his home, his family, his mom, his family roots. There was always a great need for him to find a balance over there. And I don't think he necessarily did find that balance, because right after that, you have the Cancer card, and the Cancer is very emotional card. He was very, very emotional as far as that is concerned. Very passionate about his 4th house aspects as well, family, home, mother, his emotions, etc. And also affairs at the end of life. He thought a lot about that. What's going to happen to me if I were to pass? What if I to just pass now? What happens then? A lot of times he's had those thoughts in his head. He has, I want to say for sure, he has contemplated committing suicide for a long time. I really will say that he has certainly contemplated committing suicide, and was somehow able to pull himself out of it. I also do believe his ties with his mom were very, very deep, very strong ties as far as his mom was concerned, even though they might have had a few rifts and this and that and whatever. But he constantly wanting and needing his mother's approval was also very, very strong for him. So now let's delve deeper and get into the whys and wherefores, right? Let me pull this deck, my favorite, Two of Pentacles, this one, 5 of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles. Wow, a lot of Pentacles, a lot of Earth energy, considering he's a Cups energy or a water energy. 10 of Swords, and the High Priestess. So let's take a look at this. What did I say Virgo was? 1, 2, 3rd house. 3rd house was Virgo, immediate environment and short trips. There was some sort of a wanting to make a decision, tossing ideas around, something about his immediate environment. He was a little conflicted as far as his immediate environment was concerned. I don't know, maybe immediate environment as in his relationship, his home, his, his immediate future, his current, situation. He was kind of contemplating things for sure. And then we have the 5 of Pentacles. right on top of the Taurus card. And for him, Taurus was his 11th house, correct? Now, as we know, 11th house talks about like-minded people, groups, and friends. So I do believe he might have felt a little bit alienated from them. He might have felt that he was kind of not necessarily understood. He felt that people didn't really get him. People didn't really understand him. And there is a possibility he might have lost some money as far as some investments with his friend circle is concerned. That's a high possibility too. Then we have the Ace of Pentacles, and the Ace of Pentacles is right upon the Pluto card. Now this talks about a new investment, a new home, a new opportunity, that sort of a thing. But it's on the Pluto card. So the Pluto, so what this is telling me is, his opinion, or rather his thought process, he might have been thinking about, what is it going to cost me if I were to give up this career and start a new, go off and do something else? What is it going to take? What is it going to cost me? What is the price I'm going to have to pay? Because with the Pluto card, now as we know, Pluto is regeneration. He was wondering if he could regenerate his life in a different way. Like, you know, he might have felt burnt out in the industry, and he might have just wanted to walk away and start afresh. But his concern was, financially, how would it affect me? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure he was financially quite sufficient, you know, to take care of him. But then we don't know what their financial statuses are, right? Or their, you know, how much money they have, and who knows. There could have been something to do with that. Also, there's a high possibility he wanted to start off a new venture. Okay, maybe a venture that he had thought about for many, many years, but shelved it, and now he wanted to bring it up front again and start it all over again, and that was a great opportunity. But he had been thinking a lot about it, cerebrally thinking a lot about it. Okay, and also you have this card feeling like hitting rock bottom, even though he might have had a great opportunity, you know, regenerate a idea, a project, and say, okay, I'm going to bring it back to life, and it's going to give me a new start, a fresh start, maybe give me a new lease of life, at least as far as emotional health and mental health was concerned. For some reason, he did feel emotionally and mentally like he had hit rock bottom. There was a lot of mental anxiety and depression. Many a time I can envision this man looking at himself in the mirror and going, if only people knew how I really think, if only people knew what goes on in my mind, if only people knew what truly, the kind of thoughts that I have in my mind, they would be shocked. I'm sure many a time I can literally see him looking at himself in the mirror and saying, wow, if people knew what am I really thinking? What are my true thoughts? You know, they look at me as a comedian, they have such great expectations from me, but do they even know? Can I even tell them what's going on in my mind, and will they understand? So he's gone through a lot of anxiety, a lot of grief, a lot of depression. On many occasions felt very, very, very kind of like he had hit rock bottom. Like I think he was too harsh on himself. Okay, I also believe that in his eyes, he felt that he was not good enough, that there was more he could do. So he was very, very harsh upon himself. And then we have the Cancer card, which is his first house. And right on top of that, we have the High Priestess. Okay, what is the High Priestess? As we know, the High Priestess is ruled by the moon. It talks about mystical quietness and things remain hidden, not to rush into things, etc. But I also am thinking, I wonder he was very emotional with regards to a specific intimate relationship, be it his wife or be it somebody else. Now, please, let me make one thing clear. Let me throw my disclaimer right here. This is for intimate entertainment purposes only. These are my observations and my opinions. Please do your own research, do your own due diligence, and form your own conclusions. I will say, though, that I am not surprised if he did have second thoughts about his current spouse or whoever his current intimate partner was, and he might have been having some feelings for somebody else. Now, the High Priestess in this could also mean his mother, but if it were his mom, I would say he was very, very overly emotional about something. He might have felt that he had let his mom down for some reason, and he was very upset and emotional about it. If it was an intimate partner or a spouse in his life, I do believe that he was kind of a little bit upset, because I believe that relationship wasn't necessarily the way he envisioned it to be. Okay, so let's take a look and see what's going on here. Was it I'm leaning more towards an intimate partner here, because it's telling me there's, and remember the moon card is associated with, you know, of course, Cancerians, the moon, they say, but for me it's more of a Pisces card. So Pisces is ruled by Jupiter and Neptune. A lot of confusion and illusions with regards to this particular relationship, or his role in that relationship, or the how did the whole equation work, what was the, you know, that sort of a thing. He did feel that there was something that was so hidden that he couldn't dig deep enough. What was his role in that relationship? How did that relationship affect him? Was it really as he envisioned it to be? There was some doubt, an element of doubt in his mind as far as that is concerned. Oh my God, y'all will be so proud of me if you were to see how I've laid the cards down, because I did a pretty good job. Then let's look at the Judgment card. We have the Judgment card. Followed by the Eight of Wands, right? Followed by the Nine of Swords. Page of Swords, lot of air energy. And Three of Pentacles. Now what this is telling me is a lot of talk, a lot of wanting justification. And also I'm going to say, it was more like he was wanting to make an announcement with regards to a particular situation in his life. He had been talking to people about it, but he wanted to formalize it. And unfortunately, I don't think he did have the opportunity to formalize it and make an opinion. But he also realized that once he made the announcement, then it was official, right? So he was quite hesitant about it. Now, also as far as the Eight of Wands is concerned, right on top of the Five of Pentacles, I do believe him feeling alienated, be it emotionally, be it financially, from that group of people who he was associated with. That alienation came really, really fast. Okay, unexpectedly so. Following that, you have a Nine of Swords. So this is telling me that him hearing that news and feeling that, oh my, it kind of almost sort of hit him out of the blue, if you will, and it caused him a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, a lot of grief. He really felt like, oh my God, look, he really felt like this was, and that onset, okay, that onset of that news coming through to him saying, oh my God, look where we are at and look what has happened, right? It was very sudden, leading to anxiety and depression. This also, to me, it tells me, when he did commit suicide, right, I do believe that that decision was made on an impulse, and he was like, pardon my language, but F-U-C-K it, I'm just going to do it. So in the past, had he thought about committing suicide? Sure. Was he suicidal? Sure. Was he depressed? Sure. But this time he was like, the thought just comes in his mind and he's like, I'm going to do it, done. There was no hesitating about it. There was absolutely no hesitation. There was no, what you want to call, you know, oh, let me see how I feel when I wake up in the morning. Impulsive, like it was boom, done, over. Okay, then we have the Page of Swords. Of course, there was a lot of gossip and lot of talking about his anxiety, grief, depression. Lot of gossip and talk about how he felt like he had hit rock bottom. A lot of gossip about how he was, you know, people talking about it. But the sad part is nobody really did anything much about it. You know, that circle of support and people supporting him, the cooperation. And the threes are usually, you know, a collaboration, teamwork, you know, people around you, right? Your team, be it your team at home. Of course, Pentacles is business and finances, but whoever your team is, be it your intimate, immediate circle, or be it your business partners, he felt that they were talking a lot, but they didn't take any action to step forth and say, hey man, we know you're struggling, let's help you with this. Or something is itching me over here, I don't know what it is. Don't ask me about my skin. It's another story. So earlier today, I had just gone out for a little bit and they go, oh my God, what happened to your face? I was like, oh, thanks. I feel beautiful. Thank you. And then we have the Queen of Wands over here. This is regarding somebody who felt, he wished and he felt that they could have taken action, meaning he wished that that individual was somebody who he could, let me make sure, is this dying on me? There is enough power. Okay, there we go. So why does it blink? So this is somebody who he felt could have supported him in terms of taking the necessary action and support, taking the necessary action to reach for help with regards to his mental health situation. Now, the Queen of Wands does talk about somebody who he had a lot of confidence in, somebody who he had a lot of trust in, somebody who he felt was not afraid to take action, not afraid to step up and speak. But he felt very let down about this person. That's what I'm feeling. I think he felt let down. And look, because he felt that there was some challenges, there were some obstacles. This individual was a block. This individual was putting up some obstacles, was challenging his decisions, was challenging him in a way, be it emotionally challenging him or mentally challenging him, or physically even. Whoa, 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 cards, what? I'm going to pick up these cards. So this one is Six of Cups, and I have two on the floor. Oh my God, is this going to be trouble? Yeah. So I have Ten of Wands, so Six of Cups, Ten of Wands, and then the Wheel of Fortune. So this is telling me that those challenges and obstacles that he felt, he wished he could have removed them. He wished that they didn't arise, and he wished he could go back. His relationship must have gone bad for him. A significant relationship, I think, went south, and that bothered him a lot. And he wished he could go back and capture it. But unfortunately, he couldn't, and he felt very burdened that he couldn't go back and capture that relationship, maybe with somebody in the past, maybe connect with somebody in the past. Could it have been his mom? Could it have been somebody else? And turn back the clock. But he felt very burdensome that he couldn't accomplish that. Very burdened. And then you have the Wheel of Fortune. Now, we all understand the Wheel of Fortune talks about, things constantly moving. Nothing is set in concrete, right? Nothing is set in stone. Like time and energy is fluid, right? Time and energy is fluid, and things are going to change, right? But, and it is a Jupiter card. Now, keep in mind, as much as he was very smart, very intelligent, and very cognizant of the fact that time and energy is fluid, he was also afraid of what the turning wheel was going to reveal. He was afraid of what it was going to reveal, what the future was going to reveal, and what was going to come up. And I do believe he had a few hesitations, or he had a few insecurities as far as, will I be able to handle it? Will I be able to process it? Will I be able to come out of it successfully? Something with regards to this particular individual. Now, I'm not saying there's somebody responsible for his death, but in his head, there is a significant relationship that played a pretty major role as far as the trajectory that his life took, the past, before he died, 6-7 years before that time period, okay? The one who laughs the loudest is the one who cries the hardest. So sad. I mean, he was something else, man. Robin Williams, he was just... I saw a skit he did, or whatever. Is it even called a skit? Like, he was invited by whatever the name of the director is of the Actors Guild. And he just, like, people, students or whatever, they interviewed a lot of actors and a lot of movie makers, and all go online and see, like, do their little spiels, and they're interviewed, and the students ask them questions, and that sort of a thing. And he did some impromptu skits that were just unbelievable. It's like, man, your imagination, it's like a different level of intelligence. It's like how he does these just a minute type of skits. We used to have just a minute competitions in school, if you will. So you have a jar, and you have a whole bunch of paper with some topic written on it, like, let's say, dance or Chopin or something, some weird things, and you have literally 60 seconds to come up with a scenario, dialogue, and action and present it, right? It's very, very interesting. So he just saw the audience, and there was a lady who was wearing a scarf. I remember that so clearly. He said, "May I borrow your scarf?" And she said, "Yes." And then he takes a scarf and he does this whole skit. It's just unbelievable. Is it, how the heck does this man like come up with all of this in literally spur of the moment? I think it was spur of the moment. I don't know if it was all planted and predetermined. I don't think, but unbelievable. Just fantastic. There are a couple of other actors who are really, really awesome, but unfortunately they don't get the kudos and credit as much as they should. But anyway. Even Jim Carrey, I believe, is just phenomenally talented. Very, and I don't think that they have really exploited or used, not exploited or used, I can't say that. I mean, his talent hasn't even been scratched. I mean, forget about him being a comedian. I mean, there's a movie he did, I think it's called 23 or November 23 or something like that. It's one of the spooky movies, and I don't even know how I happened upon that movie, but I did, and I watched it. Unbelievable. I think as serious roles, or even as a role of, I know I hate to say this, but, what you call, like a serial killer or something, weird roles like that, I think Jim Carrey would do awesome. I really think he would. Him just, not that I don't appreciate his roles as a comedian, but, oh man, that guy's got so much talent. But anyhow, off the subject. And then we have the Sun card. Look at that. I wonder if the Sun card was because I was talking about Carrie and Robin Williams approves. And then we have the Nine of Pentacles. And then we have the Hangman. So let's take a look at the Sun card. The Sun card, of course, talks about happy times, expansions, and new horizons. The universe giving you the green light and say, go for it. Happy times also talks about masculinity, the father figure, the child. And then you have the Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles, lots of Pentacles cards here, right? Nine of Pentacles talks about having the finances and wherewithal to be able to focus and to be able to have the sustenance, right? Have the ability to sustain yourself in your current lifestyle. And then we have the Hangman, and the Hangman is like, okay, you know, do I make a decision, okay, to go off into the sunset or sunlight, knowing very well I have the financial, wherewithal to sustain myself. You remember I was talking about some new project, starting a new life, or just go off into the sunset or sunlight or wherever, start a new day, start a new life, knowing very well financially I'm all right, and just chill and just think about life and make a lot of decisions with regards to where do I want to go from here, revisit, look at my life from a different perspective, look at what I want to do henceforth. Not so much contemplation, but also try to look at what and how best he can use his skill sets and his talent, and how best he can live his life, like trying to look at things from a different perspective and that sort of a thing. But I also believe that he wanted to kind of take a break from the limelight and not want to be so much in front of the camera. I think that weighed on him a little bit. I think he wanted to go off and do something else. But, and he thought a lot about it, and he tried to look at it from different perspectives. He also, I do believe, was very concerned for the finances of his children. Okay, so I don't know how many kids he has, but then here you have the Eight of Pentacles. But unfortunately, he felt that for whatever reason, torn between walking off into the woods, if you will, as opposed to continuing to work and continue to finish all his projects and keep chipping away. I don't know if he was that keen on continuing as a comedian. I don't think he was. I think somewhere along the line, he was beginning to be a little disillusioned with the whole Hollywood thing and losing interest as far as the way things were happening, or how his talents were received, the kind of projects he was getting. He was kind of getting a little bit more disillusioned by seeing and watching all the BS that probably goes on in Hollywood. And he's like, I don't know if I want to continue this job. I am looking at my job. Do I have to continue? Do I have to do that just for my kids? Do I have to do that because, like, I'm just going to, I don't know what to do. And here you have Seven of Swords. So the Seven of Swords talks about betrayal, dishonesty, wanting to run away. I wondered if something to do with his business, something to do with his finances, somebody has betrayed him. So there's a lot of betrayal here, lot of betrayal, feeling like somebody has let him down, somebody has put up obstructions, somebody has caused him grief, anxiety, and depression, somebody has made him feel like he has hit absolutely rock bottom. Very unfortunate. Four of Pentacles. Now, Four of Pentacles does talk about greed, of course, right? And wanting more for future, for long-term finances. But Four of Pentacles is also a card of insecurity, holding on. I don't know what he was holding on to. Maybe holding on to a thought or an idea or a hope or a dream, thinking that someday he's going to be able to accomplish it. But holding on to the idea, the thought or the feeling or the hope that his life would change, that the world would change. I think he was very disillusioned with all the BS that was going around him. I truly believe he was very, very disillusioned with the way life was, his life was turning around, the kind of stuff that was going on within his circle, you know, his social, his familial, his business circle. And he was hoping things would change. He was hoping that, things would change in his world, but I don't think they did. And because he, like I said, things didn't change, he decided. Now, this card can talk about rest, recuperation. It can also talk about solitude, retreat. And it also talks about death. I think he just got tired and he was like, you know what, I'm so over this. I'm so done, you know. And then you have the Queen of Cups. I think this has a lot to do with his mother. I don't know what his relationship with his mother is. I think the Queen of Cups is his mom. There was a lot of emotional either disconnect or connection with his mom, and he felt that for some reason he wished he could reconnect with his mom. I truly believe that. I think if he was able to reconnect with his mom, I feel like she was his source of grounding, if you will. Like, it's like, hey mom, you know, I just, you know, I feel like I'm kind of a little lost. I need to kind of reground myself. I think she provided that for him, and he wished he could reconnect with her, and for some reason he wasn't able to, and that's a sad thing. I don't understand. I mean, he's such a brilliant man. I mean, who could have thunk that he had so many demons that he was fighting with? I mean, mental health and depression is y'all. Tell me what you want me to. Page of Wands. Queen of Wands, Four of Cups. He feels that whatever it is that he was doing, whoever this Page of Wands and this Queen of Wands was, they were very, very unhappy with him or his life. He felt that he could never satisfy them. He felt that he was insufficient. He felt that he lacked a lot. So I don't know who this Page of Wands. Page of Wands does talk about a younger energy, right? An active, pages are young kids, right? The knights are, let's say, late 20s to late 30s or even 40s, and then the king and queen are much older, if you want to talk about ages. So I do believe a child, a younger person, young enough to be a child, somebody who was like a peer, like maybe a spouse, and then there was a lot going on there, and he felt that he was not happy. But then again, the roles are reversed. I feel like they too tried to patch up, to reach out, to come halfway, to meet him halfway, but it wasn't enough for him. So I'm not going to say they were responsible. They too tried, but that there was a great disconnect and they couldn't find a happy medium. Very unfortunate. Two cards. Yes, with regards to the house and then the King of Cups, absolutely. So this is a familial situation. I do believe he felt that he was incapable, insufficient, not able to provide, be the man that he wanted to be for his family, be the man that he thought they wanted him to be. And it was all about that sort of a thing. And he felt very what is that word even? He felt very insufficient, lacking confidence in himself as a family man, which is very unfortunate. I mean, think about him, Robin Williams. Oh my goodness, like how many people can you count in Hollywood who are at that level of talent and such? I mean, but I'm going to stop it. I know I could go on for another hour, but I'm not. I'm just going to stop this. I hope you'll enjoy this thing. It's very unfortunate. I mean, I don't know. Let me take one more card for him because end of a situation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9th house. Well, clearly, you know, the disillusionment, the feeling, a feeling like he lacked, feeling like he was unable to be he wasn't man enough, or the person that he wanted to be, kind of feeling a little less than, I think, is what led to the destruction and disillusionment of his mental state, his relationships with himself, his relationship with himself, his relationships with his loved ones and those around him, and ultimately it led to the disillusionment of his life in and unto itself, all gone in a heartbeat. I mean, like, oh my God. So I'm just going to say this to all those who are struggling with mental health issues. Please know that you're not alone. Please know that there are so many people out there in this universe who may be going through similar situations and circumstances as yourself. Do not feel embarrassed. Do not feel ashamed. Reach out. There are so many organizations. You know, the government too offers free aid, you know, your national helplines, etc. Please reach out and don't feel like you're not heard. Don't feel like, you know, nobody cares. People care. People hear you. People see you. So please don't feel invisible. Just reach out. See, you know, just talking about it sometimes is all you need. And to those of us who have or may have come across or interacted with people who have, mental health issues, or if you think somebody does, just being there for them, just listening to them. You don't have to say anything. Just let them talk. Just listen to them. Sometimes that's all they need too, even. Now, granted, I'm not an expert. I'm not a mental health provider or anything like that. I'm not a doctor or anything. But I think just having somebody hear you and say, I hear you. You don't even have to say, I understand. Just say, I hear you. I see you. I'm here. I mean, if you need, what can I do for you? Just offering that is enough sometimes for folks who are going through this hard time. So please take care. Know that you're loved. Know that you are cared for. And don't hesitate. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Mental health is not like a big shame or something. Don't ever feel ashamed. Don't ever feel embarrassed, right? Just reach out. So many people in the universe go through that, regardless of what demographic you are, whether you're an actor, aka, Robin Williams, whether you're just a kid going to college, or dad or mom working, or somebody struggling with 2 jobs, or, so many people, different walks of life. Mental health does not discriminate, y'all. So please don't feel like, there's something wrong with you. A lot of people go through this. Reach out, ask for help, and please know that there is somebody in the universe who really does care for you and who's rooting for you. Take care of yourself and blessed be. See you in the next video. Bye for now.